Building on success. Pop-up shops were a catalyst for renewal along Danforth Avenue East and really made the Strip a much more vibrant, busy place. We were able to attract shoppers traveling by foot, bike, car, subway. The pop-up shops really created a lot of excitement in our community and gave people a reason to shop locally. Volunteers were an incredibly important part of the project. Residents contributed not only by shopping at the stores, but by volunteering their time and energy and skills. What worked for us? Choosing the right business was vital. It was a vital part of the project. Some of the types of businesses that we hosted as pop-up shops along the Danforth East were fitness and games, art galleries and studios, food. That was a difficult one because of the permits needed. And then the majority of our pop-up shops were fashion, artisan, and design stores. What's the right mix? Every neighborhood is going to be a little bit unique. The best way to find out what kind of people or what the right mix for your neighborhood would be to check the local demographics. Are the people that live in your neighborhood primarily older or younger? Or are there a lot of families? What types of businesses would thrive in your community? The local business improvement association or chamber of commerce will have some of those statistics and maybe a way that you can find out how many pedestrians there are and what the mix of people is, what the income level is in your neighborhood, to make sure that you bring in shops that will be the right fit where people will shop. In our case, we learned that size was very important. The smaller storefronts of 800 square feet or less were actually quite more affordable, and the tenants that chose to stay on permanently after their pop-up shops looked for these smaller spaces. Bigger storefronts are just more costly. Events were very important to the success of our pop-up shop project, and getting the community involved in all kinds of ways helped to build a community that was watching and interested in shopping local. Even if some of the events were about other things, they were important parts and building blocks of getting the community involved. Another thing that we learned was the local business improvement association could be a very important partner. The new businesses that moved into our neighborhood joined the local BIA and helped to build a much stronger association that began to rebrand and take over building a strong commercial strip. The results for our particular project on the Danforth East were very impressive. Over 4 years, 32 pop-up shops were hosted, and the commercial vacancy rate declined from 17%, where nearly 1 in 5 stores was empty, to 6%, where it's difficult now for a new business to find a store to locate, an empty store to locate in our neighborhood. Beautiful window displays are vital, and I just wanted to take a moment to talk about that again. It's something that we learned because having 32 pop-up shops, not everyone had the skills to make a beautiful window. And if you don't have a beautiful window, people are not as inclined to come into your shop. These are some of the businesses that create beautiful windows in our neighborhood. And you can really tell the difference lighting can make, the difference colors. Even an eclectic mix of stuff in a window can be beautifully done, as did Maggie here in the handwork department. And making use of the sidewalk outside is another clever way to draw people in. Experiment to find out what works for you. Don't be afraid to try new things. Our project, we were learning as we went along. Tried to share some of the learnings with you here in our toolkit. This is something that we did as a mural to help hide these boxes that were piled up in the window of a storefront in between retail tenants. This was a way of keeping the storefronts looking good, and it just helped to make a more appealing look from the sidewalk. So experiment, find out what works for you in your area. And all of our resources are available for free for you to adapt and to use in your own way in our pop-up shop toolkit.